Good afternoon, morning, and good night, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. We are now, at least from the time of this video, into the second week of Wuthering Waves since release, or at least the start of the second week, but whatever. Before I get into the video, I want to know, how far have you guys gotten into the game? What's your union level like? What are your echoes looking like? And what characters have you pulled so far? I mean, personally, I just hit level 35 last night, and pretty much just have my main group set up, aside from Jinlin, who will be coming out here in a couple weeks. And currently I'm just looking to get them all build with their best 5 stars, eventually branch out and put together another, team idea that I have with Havoc Rover, Johnson, and Arena. And honestly, I'm playing around with a Dungeon Tauki build. I don't really know how her name is pronounced. And I'll talk more about that later in the video, but yeah, how are you guys doing? And just want to hear you guys down below. Hit that like button, comment, subscribe, y'all know the deal. Speaking of building DPS characters, or just characters in general, I'm sure you're wondering from the title of this video what my thoughts are regarding the 4 sub-DPS characters that can help you dish out a lot of damage depending on who your main DPS is. So let's just go ahead and hop straight into it, yeah? I've spent the past few days testing out new sub-DPS builds that work well with Calcharo, Havoc Rover, and I've also been working on something for Dungeon that I'm currently playing with in my head. So disclaimer, this is my opinion, and from what I've tested personally, feel free to criticize. It's all good. Some of these ideas I actually heard from other people within the community and friends that they're theory crafters that are working on a support build for Johnson and just Sanhua as well. And speaking of Sanhua, I'm gonna go ahead and start off by ranking these characters in regards to what characters they synergize best with. For Calcharo specifically, I would rank it as such, right? Sanhua being the first, Johnson, Baishi, and then Mortefi being the last one, just because the heavy attack bonus is nice, but it doesn't really affect Calcharo too much. His basic attacks do a lot more damage, but I can see where Mortefi can work really well if you have him as a sub DPS, aside from Sanhua and Johnson. And speaking of Sanhua, in my opinion, and it's been circulating around the theory crafting community as well, that she seems to give Calcharo one of the biggest damage boosts compared to the others. My reasoning behind why Sanhua is so much stronger is because she's has a conditional, but her conditional actually isn't as limiting as, say, Johnson's, where it needs to be in the liberation state, so liberation damage gets boosted. Sanhua actually has better uptime if played correctly, and the 38% of basic attack damage for 14 seconds or until the character is switched off is more than enough time to be able to do all the damage you need to outside and inside of burst phase for Calcharo. And we all know that in liberation and outside of liberation state, Calcharo's damage, at least the basic attack damage, is significantly higher. And the fact that, Sanhua has 14 seconds and it's really easy to build if you have some energy regen. And Baiji's damage boost, in my opinion, is absolutely the worst out of all of them, outside of Mortefi, just because you only have 6 seconds. And though that is enough time, the overall potential uptime that you have on it isn't necessarily great. So that's why I put her third, or second to last from the bottom. At least that's my reasoning. Johnson, though she has the same 38%, but it is towards your liberation damage, so it's very conditional, and you're kind of forced into this really awkward rotation at times, where if you don't have enough energy regen for Calcharo, you'll find that you'll always be, either slightly away from your liberation or just about there, so you could lose a potential 2 seconds of DPS from your liberation damage. So that's something to think about as well. That's why I put her at second, because the damage you do get is still similar to Sanhua's, but Sanhua's is more consistent in the sense that you're still going to get damage outside of your liberation state, so that's why I put her a little bit higher. And the worst, in my opinion, being more Teffy, that is assuming you don't have Sanhua or Johnson, right? More Teffy, just boosting your heavy attack damage, though it's nice early on, it's not necessarily the best thing after you reach a certain amount of ascension and stuff like that. Just overall think that his kit, though he is fun to play, his outro is very lackluster for Calcharo. And with even that, I would even say just getting a second main DPS for the moment until you flesh out your team would probably net you more damage in the outcome anyway. I'm not going to go too deep into Jian simply because I don't have him yet, but when I have tried him in Trials and the Illusionary Realm and everything like that, he has the same template or playstyle as Calcharo, where the brunt of their damage is in their burst liberation state. So for that reason, I would still suggest Sanhua. If you don't have her, just go Jianzhen. I can see potential for Jianzhen to be significantly better just because Jian's liberation state does last longer, but I think at the end of the day, you're still just going to get basic attack damage deepen. It's probably going to be better unless when he's in his liberation state, the basic attack changes to something completely different. So that's where I need to do some testing. So for now, I would just stick with Jianzhen at 1 and Sanhua at 2, unless someone can correct me on that. And feel free to comment below. That's totally fine. I'm okay with being corrected. But yeah, let me know. Hey you. You see that like button down there? Yeah, can you go ahead and just give it a quick little nudge. Yeah, and you know what, while you're at it, hit that sub button. Don't be shy, it's free. And maybe if you hit that, you'll hit that 5-star today. Just saying. Food for thought. For the dungeon enjoyers, it seems that Tao-Chi or Sanhua would probably be best for her. Tao-Chi definitely provides more damage in her resonance skill, which is her E, and Dungeon doesn't have a CD for it. It's part of her main combo extender. Tao-Chi ends up being lackluster in other regards though, in terms of damage. However, the idea of a support Tao-Chi build has played in my mind to provide higher uptime for that resonance skill damage buff. So something I will continue testing, and I will get more information on that. Hey, it's an idea. Might as well put it in here if we're talking about stuff, right? So Spectra Rover as well as Havoc Rover are interesting, where both specs get a lot of damage out of the Liberation skill, that being their R, and their Havoc Rover kind of gets a really big damage boost during her double state as well, so her autos do get stronger, but her liberation damage is absolutely insane with the right A, echoes, and B, I think if you're running Johnson for Havoc Rover, I think that would probably be best, just because the numbers you see on the liberation skill are actually insane. I've tried both Sanhua and Johnson, and I can say that Havoc Rover wants Johnson to boost the damage of her liberation skill as much as possible, while Spectral Rover probably prefers Sanhua, in my opinion. I do want to say at the end of this video, right, I just want to state, this is my opinion, and I will have more information on the different build ideas for Danjin, at least for her Sub-Dps, because I feel like Tao-Chi is some untapped potential there. At least I personally haven't seen someone talk about the idea of a support build for her, so keep an eye out for that video if it ever comes out, if I ever make it work somehow. But anyway, thanks again for watching, and hope your pulls are blessed this weekend. Later.